Hello, I am happy to talk a little bit about my views on credibility and authenticity that is in Chapter 4 of The Skillful Teacher. I'm actually writing the third edition of that book and have found that most of what I wrote regarding Chapter 4 stays pretty intact. Um, I first wrote that book in the late 80s and it came out in 1990, and now it's 2014. So it's about 25 years since I wrote it, but the importance of balancing credibility and authenticity seem to be paramount still in terms of students' perspectives on what makes a good teacher. In the 25 years which since I wrote that chapter originally, I've done a lot more reading in research reports, and I've collected thousands of critical incident questionnaires, both in my own teaching but also in the teaching of colleagues across the disciplines and also in multiple settings. And all of that further data basically has confirmed that, for me anyway, those two characteristics are crucial. I think maybe I've come to a better understanding of how credibility is manifested and how authenticity is manifested. For example, in credibility, one of the things I've come to realize is that the way students judge that we know what we're doing and that we know our stuff is if we can respond to questions in the moment that clearly are unexpected. It seems that responding to an unanticipated question in a good way that demonstrates your knowledge and ability, that seems to really enhance your credibility more, in fact, than anything else. I've also become even more convinced of the importance of talking out loud why we do what we do, of building a rationale for our actions. The data over the last 25 years, for me, emphasizes that you can't do that too much. You can't overdo it, in effect. In the authenticity side of things, I think I've become even more convinced of the importance of full disclosure, of making sure early on that people know exactly what it is that you're assessing them by, what criteria you're using, the expectations and the agenda that you have. I've become even more convinced of the importance of responsiveness, and for me, the critical incident questionnaire has been a very good way of incorporating responsiveness into multiple meetings and teaching. Um, and let me see, what else is there under authenticity? Personhood, responsiveness. I've become also very convinced by the importance of autobiographical disclosure. And I would say in the last quarter of a century since the book was written for its first edition, that I've become better at incorporating appropriate autobiographical disclosure into my teaching and my leadership activities, and also into my writing. So for me, balancing credibility and authenticity still is the key balance to strike in a teacher or in a leader, all the while recognizing, of course, that we don't strike a perfect balance and that we're always erring one side or the other, and not to feel that disqualifies us somehow as being unqualified. It's just the nature of the pedagogic beast. You can't get things perfectly balanced, really, I think, ever. But the thing that does help me keep the balance, I think, in reasonably congenial tension, is using the critical incident questionnaire. Because if I'm going overboard on emphasizing credibility or overboard on emphasizing authenticity, the CIQs will catch that immediately and allow me to readjust. So that's a sort of brief update on where I am with Chapter 4. I wish I had some incredibly new and profound and transformative insights to report, but it's one of the few things that stay pretty stable for me, and I think the longer I teach, the better I have an understanding of why those two factors are important. Okay, thanks.